Johannesburg. In a humbling rebuke to President Jacob Zuma of South Africa, the African National Congress chose an anti-apartheid hero and business tycoon as its new leader on Monday, positioning him to become Mr. Zuma's successor. The new ANC leader, Cyril Ramaphosa, was a protege of Nelson Mandela, who had pushed unsuccessfully to name him as his successor in the late 1990s. After a long wait, he is now poised to lead a party and nation that have been deeply tarnished by Mr. Zuma's 8-year rule. After a fierce and tight race that exposed the stark divisions in the party, the ANC's 4,708 delegates voted by a margin of 179 ballots for Mr. Ramaphosa, 65, currently South Africa's deputy president. The vote also amounted to a rejection of Mr. Zuma, who had backed the other main contender, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, a veteran politician, and Mr. Zuma's former wife. Mr. Ramaphosa's victory amounts to a victory for reformers in the ANC, which wants to root out corruption and woo back foreign investors. Ms. Dlamini Zuma had promised the radical economic transformation her former husband had never delivered. Ramaphosa has a better chance of renewing confidence, not only in the markets but also inside the ANC, where reformers may now feel they have a place, said William Gund, the executive chairman of the Democracy Works Foundation, a good government advocacy group. The mood in this country in the last couple of years has been so depressed that he'll bring a new energy. But as a wealthy member of Mr. Zuma's government who was largely silent in the face of cronyism and corruption, Mr. Ramaphosa is seen by critics as more a creature of that system than an honest broker and corruption fighter. Ramaphosa doesn't have a reputation for being gung-ho, said Stephen Friedman, a political analyst at the University of Johannesburg. He's not the kind of muscleman politician that will go in and clean up. He's more of a conciliator and bridge mender. There are all these wild expectations now. Besides the presidency vote, delegates voted on 5 other top party positions. The total 6 posts were evenly split between the two factions, indicating that Mr. Ramaphosa will still need to negotiate and compromise with Mr. Zuma's allies, Mr. Friedman said. Mr. Zuma, who will cease to be party leader this week but whose term as the country's president does not end until 2019, will leave his successor a number of problems, but one above all, a once heroic liberation party that has now become associated with graft, cronyism and incompetence and that has been losing core supporters. As delegates waited for the official results to be announced Monday evening at a national conference in Johannesburg, Mr. Ramaphosa could be seen joyfully greeting and hugging well-wishers on the stage, and posing for selfies. Ms. Dlamini Zuma mostly sat expressionless. President Zuma sat sipping from a cup of tea. As expectations of a Ramaphosa victory heightened, South Africa's currency, the rand, gained sharply, reflecting the business community's preference for him. Senior political figures began posting congratulatory messages to Mr.